obstacle you threw in the way of Michael Jordan. He knocked him out.
He overcame.
He knocked him out. Jordan was the kind of dude that would roll up on you, right? You could have the finest ass honeys in the room. Don't mean nothing to him.
When we talk about greatness in the NBA, we often get caught up in comparing numbers, rings, and awards. But Stephen A. Smith makes it clear that with Michael Jordan, the conversation goes far deeper than statistics. It is about the mentality, the fear factor, the respect he commanded, and the relentless competitive fire that separated him from every other player who ever laced them up. In this breakdown, we are diving into Stephen A.'s most passionate takes on Michael Jordan's unshakable drive to win, exploring the mindset and the dominance that kept him head and shoulders above everyone else. If you love the game and want to hear more deep dives like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and drop your thoughts in the comments so we can keep the conversation going. Now, let's get right into it. Stephen A. starts by emphasizing that in Jordan's era, there was no debate about who the best player was. He explains that anyone who played during that time will tell you there was simply no other option because Jordan was so far ahead of everyone else. This was not a matter of opinion for the players. It was a shared reality across the league. Being head and shoulders above the competition meant that Jordan was not just the most talented, he was also the most complete, the most prepared, and the most dominant in any given situation. His skill set covered every aspect of the game, from scoring to defense, leadership, and clutch performances. Stephen A.'s point here is that the gap between Jordan and the rest was so vast that it almost made competition seem unfair. This also meant that players entered games knowing they were facing someone operating on a different level entirely, which had a psychological effect before the ball was even tipped. The dominance was so undeniable that it shut down any potential what-if debates during his reign. In an age without social media to inflate hype, this consensus was built purely on court performance and the direct experience of competing against it. Stephen A.'s framing of this makes it clear that Jordan's place at the top of his era was not up for discussion. It was accepted truth among those who mattered most, his opponent.
But the reason there were no other options is because anybody that played in that era would tell you there could not possibly be another option because Michael Jordan was head and shoulders above them all.
Stephen A. then shifts to describing Jordan's ability to overcome obstacles. He points out that no matter what challenge was put in front of Jordan, he not only overcame it, but did so decisively, knocking it out completely. This is not just about physical talent. It's about resilience, adaptability, and an unshakable will to win. Throughout his career, Jordan faced a range of challenges. Powerhouse teams in the East during the late 80s, physically punishing defenses like the Detroit Pistons' Bad Boys, and later the pressure of sustaining a dynasty in the 90s. Each time, he adapted his game, refined his skills, and came back stronger. Stephen A.'s description of knocking out obstacles suggests a finality to Jordan's victories. Once he solved a challenge, it stayed solved. This relentless approach made it nearly impossible for opponents to find a lasting way to beat him. It also speaks to his preparation. Jordan studied opponents obsessively, looking for weaknesses he could exploit, and once he found them, he exploited them mercilessly. This mindset was a defining trait of his career. He did not just aim to win, he aimed to dominate and leave no doubt. Stephen A. uses this point to illustrate that Jordan's greatness wasn't situational or dependent on favorable circumstances. It was constant and unyielding, regardless of the obstacles in his past.
Obstacle you threw in the way of Michael Jordan. He knocked him out.
He overcame.
He knocked him out.
Stephen A. follows up by sharing something that countless players have told him personally. You feared Michael Jordan, and while you respected other great players, fear was reserved for him alone. This distinction between respect and fear is critical in understanding Jordan's impact. Respect means acknowledging someone's abilities and accomplishments, but fear means you are mentally shaken before the game even begins. It affects your preparation, your confidence, and your decision-making during the game. Jordan earned this fear through years of high-pressure performances, game-winning shots, and an unwavering refusal to lose. Every time he stepped on the court, opponents knew he had the tools, the mentality, and the drive to take over the game whenever he wanted. Stephen A.'s insight here goes beyond physical dominance. It is about psychological warfare. Jordan's reputation preceded him, and that reputation was built on years of delivering in moments when others faltered. This fear made opponents tentative, and that hesitation was all Jordan needed to gain an advantage. It's a rare quality in sports, and Stephen A. makes it clear that it is part of what made Jordan not just great, but unassailable.
Here's what I would tell you. Everyone has religiously said to me, you feared Jordan. You respect all these other dudes.
Stephen A. expands on the psychological effect Jordan had by explaining the kind of fear he could instill in his opponents. This was not just about intimidation through talk. It was about delivering exactly what he said he would do. According to Stephen A., Jordan was the kind of player who could tell you before the game that he was going to drop 50 points on you, and then he would go out and do it. That level of confidence, backed by execution, created a unique kind of dread among opponents. It is one thing to know a player is good. It is another to watch them call their shot and then hit it exactly as promised. This behavior demonstrated Jordan's supreme self self-belief, and his ability to rise to the occasion under any circumstances. It also revealed the precision of his preparation. If Jordan told you he was going to dominate, it was because he had studied your tendencies, weaknesses, and defensive schemes to the point where he knew you could not stop him. Stephen A's point here is that this combination of verbal assertion and on-court delivery amplified the fear factor tenfold. Other great players might have huge scoring nights, but Jordan did it with intentionality, almost like he was writing a script before tip-off and then acting it out in real time. This set him apart from even the most elite peers because it showed that his greatness was not random or streaky. It was deliberate, calculated, and inevitable.
Fear that Jordan would instill in you because he was the kind of person that, like, I'm gonna drop 50 on you tonight. And he would do it.
After establishing his offensive dominance, Stephen A pivots to an equally important part of Jordan's greatness, his defense. He reminds us that after Jordan humiliated you offensively, he could turn around and shut you down defensively as well. This is a rare trait among superstars, especially those known for their scoring. Many elite scorers conserve energy on the defensive end, but Jordan took pride in being a complete player who could excel on both sides of the ball. Stephen A's emphasis here underlines the fact that Jordan did not just beat you by putting points on the board, he also prevented you from doing the same. That two-way dominance made him a nightmare to face because there was no part of the game where you could find relief. He was quick enough to guard perimeter players, strong enough to handle physical matchups, and smart enough to anticipate plays before they happened. This relentless defensive pressure broke opponents mentally as much as it did physically. When a player knows they cannot score easily and also cannot stop you from scoring, the game feels hopeless. Stephen A's point is that this balance of offensive brilliance and defensive lockdown ability is a major reason why Jordan is still viewed as the gold standard. It is not just about the points he scored, it is about how thoroughly he controlled the game from start to finish.
Then he turn around and defensively shut your ass down.
Stephen A then offers a more personal glimpse into Jordan's mentality, painting a vivid picture of his singular focus. He explains that Jordan could walk into a room filled with the most glamorous distractions, even the most beautiful women, and none of it mattered to him. His attention would be locked entirely on the star player he was about to face. This tells us something crucial about Jordan's mindset. His competitive drive was not situational or easily swayed. While other athletes might have been susceptible to off-court temptations or mental lapses, Jordan's focus remained razor-sharp on the task at hand. Stephen A's description here is not just about avoiding distractions. It is about an almost obsessive commitment to competition. Jordan viewed every matchup as an opportunity to assert dominance, and nothing in the environment could pull him away from that mission. This trait is part of what made him so consistent. He was never caught unprepared or unfocused. His priorities were crystal clear: win the matchup, win the game, and leave no doubt about who was the best player on the court. Stephen A's imagery here serves as a reminder that greatness at Jordan's level is as much about mental discipline as it is about physical talent. His ability to block out everything else and zero in on competition is a skill that few athletes ever master.
Jordan was the kind of dude that would roll up on you, right? You could have the finest ass honeys in the room. Don't mean nothing to him.
Finally, Stephen A brings the focus to Jordan's laser-like attention on the opponent's star player. He explains that Jordan's eyes would light up the moment he identified the key player he was going against. This was not casual interest. It was a competitive lock-in that signaled Jordan's readiness to dismantle that player's game. Stephen A portrays this as a kind of hunting instinct, where Jordan zeroed in on the biggest threat and made it his mission to neutralize them. This approach not only eliminated the opponent's strongest weapon, but also sent a message to the rest of the team. If your best guy cannot succeed, what chance do the rest of you have? This was psychological dominance at its finest. Jordan's focus on the opposing star also ensured that he was always engaged at the highest competitive level. He thrived on the challenge, feeding off the idea of going head-to-head with the best and proving himself superior. Stephen A's depiction reinforces the theme that Jordan's greatness was built on a refusal to shy away from the toughest battles. He sought them out, relished them, and used them to fuel his own performance. This relentless pursuit of competitive challenges is one of the reasons why Jordan remains the ultimate measuring stick for basketball greatness.
Until he see the star he about to go against with him.
Stephen A. Smith's breakdown of Michael Jordan's relentless drive to win is not just a collection of stories. It is a masterclass in what separates the greatest of all time from everyone else. From being universally acknowledged as the best in his era, to overcoming every obstacle, instilling fear in opponents, dominating on both ends of the court, maintaining unmatched focus, and seeking out the toughest matchups, Jordan's career is the embodiment of competitive excellence. These traits go beyond statistics and championships. They speak to a mentality that simply cannot be replicated. Stephen A's accounts paint a clear picture. Jordan was not just another great player, he was the standard by which all others are measured. And while many will continue to debate GOAT status in the years to come, for those who witnessed his reign and for those who understand the game's deepest truths, Michael Jordan will always be on top. Nothing can beat that.